Welcome to another video on how to make parts for your miniature train project. In this video, we will be designing a wheel. This one has a lot of steps to it, so you'll probably be pausing the video a couple times if you are using it to follow along while you're making your wheel. To start off with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this section view right here. I'm going to revolve that to make a wheel shape. First thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick a sketch. I'm going to start at the very center of the wheel and work my way out. So I'm going to start at the center and figure out what my height is. So I don't have the overall height of the whole wheel. I only have from the center to the center of this arc on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go with that measurement. So that was 1 inch. With that, I have this arc on the outside with a radius of 1.125. So I'm going to put in 0.125 times 2 to get my diameter. I'm going to put a circle on the end of that. Next, you're going to see that there are lines that can run parallel to the center all the way in. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line that goes all the way from the outside of that circle. Click where it will actually lock in place. Click again where it locked in place to this side of the wheel. And now I'm just going to lock in there as well. So now I've just made the overall area, and I'm going to subtract the parts that I need to get rid of. So on one side of this, you're going to see that it actually has a cutout as part of my object. Now, all these arcs on here may be a little confusing at the moment. Don't worry about them. We're going to make them later after we revolve our drawing. So I'm going to go out 0.25 and 0.75, and I'm going to make a line from the center line out to the outside here. So again, 0.25, enter. I'm going to make a line out. And then I have 0.75 from the center. I'm just going to go from here and I'm going to go 0.5. Is that 0.5 plus 0.5 makes 0.75. So my line's in the correct spot. So I've got my vertical lines out. I've got my notch cut in. And I've got all the parts taken care of. All I'm going to do is trim this line, make it into 2 lines so that I have that area cut out. While I'm at it, why don't I just trim the circle and I can go finish on this sketch. Again, I'm going to use my revolve command, make sure I have my profile selected, go to axes, click on the axes. If I turn to the correct side, you're going to see that I created the basic shape of the wheel. From here, next, I'm just going to go ahead, you're going to see those little rounded parts on each of these 4 sides. I'm going to round those out. They say here it's radius of 0.0625 type, means all the parts that aren't labeled and rounded are that type. So I'm just going to go use my fillet tool, and I'm going to type in 0.0625, and I'm going to click on the edges that I want to do that to. Once I have all 4 of them selected, I just click apply, and I can close out that command. Now that I have all that set, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to cut each one of these little parts that go all the way through. Now to do that, I don't want to waste all my time. I don't want to work very hard. So I'm going to just use the commands that it gives me to be able to make a pattern out of one cut. So I'm going to go ahead and make one cut. So I've got my object set up. I'm going to see that there, if I hit F7, now I can just have a blank slate. It cuts off everything that's in front, and I'm going to draw what I need to cut off. So I'm going to see the inner circle. It has a radius of 0.375. So 0.375 times 2, enter. And then I have my outer one, says that it's 0.625. So 0.625 times 2. I have the inner and outer side of that object now. Now one part that is a little tricky is it does set it up so that you're 15 degrees up and then we start our object. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to put a line here, just as my reference line, so I can start drawing things on here. Because if you take a look, it's going to use the angle from the top on mine, and I don't want to use that one. I'm just going to draw a line there, I'm going to draw another one here, and I've got the lines that I need to create one part. Next, I'm going to use my dimension tool to get them to the right spacing. So 15 was the amount of degrees for the first line, and then the next one was 30. So if the next one's 30, just go ahead, click on one line, click on the other, type in my dimension, and I have my distance. From there, I can use my trim tool and make sure that I only have one object left. So now I just have one cut that I'm going to make, and then I'm going to make a pattern to make the rest of them. If I click Finish Sketch, I'm going to extrude this one part. Doesn't matter how far it goes through as long as it's going all the way through. And then I'm going to go up to my circular pattern. Now, first thing I want to do is I want to click on Feature, and instead of clicking on it in here, I'm going to click on it in the side menu. I've run into a lot of errors on more complex objects with clicking in the view of the 3D object. It makes your life a lot easier if you just click on the browser bar to get the extrusion that you want. Next thing we want is our rotation axes. So you can just pick any of the circles and it will give us our axes. Now, one thing that was nice, it was already set up to 6 placements of this object, and you can see that we have 6 on our wheel. So all I'd have to do is click OK, and there we go, we've got all of those set up. Next, we've got an easy one. The center of this is actually drilled out, so we're going to go ahead and put in that hole that they have there. 0.28 is the diameter that they suggest, and then we're just going to extrude that and cut all the way through. Last but not least, we have a peg that we want to make on this object. So the first part of the peg would be to create a big circle on the bottom, extrude that out, and then we're going to make the little one on top. To be able to do that, I'm going to create a sketch on this face. I'll click F7. That way I don't have to worry about any of that other detail getting in my way. And I'm going to make a line. It says that it's 0.7 out the very center of this part of my object. I'm going to go from the center, 0.7 out, hit enter, and now I have where the center of that's going to be. Next, I'm going to go ahead and find my diameter of 0.25. Now that I have that done, I just click finish. You're going to see it does overlap the other part of my object. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's okay. And my distance needs to be 0.375. And now I've got the first part of that object. Next, on the center of that, we are going to create the rest of it. And you're going to see it's 2 circles, it's got an outer circle, and then it has a cut in for the rest of it. So I'm going to make it, and then I'm going to cut that middle part out. So the diameter is 0.125. Click Finish Sketch. I'm going to extrude that out, and that distance comes up 0.125. I couldn't do both that and cut the hole at the same time because the hole itself goes down further. That would just have created more work for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a sketch here, and I'll just make a circle, and then I can extrude cut that. 0.0625, hit enter, finish, hit extrude. It already picked it for me. I'm going to tell it to be a cut. We got to make sure that it is cutting the correct depth at 0.25. Hit enter, and now I have my wheel completed. All you've got to do to save that to your project, and you're done.